7.5. 7.5 is completely different, is very, very interesting on how we bop around here. 7.2 and 7.1 were different from 7.3 and 7.4. Talk about complex, challenging, 7.3 and 7.4, and then we move back towards percents, which to me is relatively simple. Percents, and we're going to be converting from percents to fractions to decimals. You see that here. We have a percent, which is a fraction that can go. So I'm okay with going from percent to decimal or percent to fraction. You should know how to go directly to either of those, and that goes the same for going from. The challenging ones will be when you're in a percent or a fraction. That's where students mess up and mix up when they say, hey, go to a percent or go to a decimal. When you get 2.5% and they want you to go to a decimal, a lot of students just go 2.5. It's already a decimal. Now this is a decimal percent. That is completely different than going to a decimal. We're still going to move that decimal point over 2 places. So if we move it over 2 places, you get this. So that decimal point was here, it moves over 2 places and becomes that. Now it's a decimal. Now it is a decimal. This is not, this is a decimal percent. So keeping in mind, those are sort of some of the tricks. So that's going to be my decimal points there. We're going to move it 2 places to the left is the trick. And we get 0.2 is my decimal value for 20%. So move it over 2 places, 1, 2, we get 0.35. And always put the 0 in front. I mean, never give, I don't ever give that as a decimal. That's incorrect. I would always write the 0 in front of it. We're going to move it 2 places, 0.6, 2 places, 0.75, 2 places. So if I move it 1, 2, that decimal point is here, and there's a 0. So it's 0.042 would be the decimal value for that decimal percent. We're going to move it 2 places. Let's write it a little bit closer. So 1, 2, so we get 0.015. Now here I would turn it to a decimal percent. 1/4 is equivalent to 0.25. And now I'm moving it 2 places. So I get 0.0025 is my decimal value. 2.5, we should know that that is going to be 0.4% or 0.4. And now we're going to move that decimal point over 2 places. So we get 0.004. We can go back and look if that decimal point was here, 1, 2, yeah, that moved it. 260, 2 places, is going to be 2.6. Not with the percent, we're changing it to a decimal. So it's 2.6. We're going to move it 2 places. 1.4 is the decimal value. And think about it, 100% is equal to 1. So when we get 260, we're going to get more than 1, or 2.6. Write each number as a percent. So now we're going to, there's a couple of ways of doing this. They see this. You should know what some of these decimal values are. And so now instead of moving it decimal point 2 places to the left, we're going to move it 2 places to the right. You can put it over 100 because percents are over 100, so you can find its equivalency. 1/5 is equal to 20 over 100, so it's equal to 20%. I really expect students to know what the decimal value is. So this is 0.6. 3/5 is equal to 0.6, and I'm going to move it 2 places to the right now. So that's going to be equal to 60%. 1/4 is equal to 0.25. I'm going to move it 2 places. So that's 25%. 7/8. Okay, I don't know what 7/8 is. I think it might be 0.875. Maybe, let's look. And we can use a calculator. 7 divided by 8 creates its decimal value. And I was correct. I'm going to move it 2 places. So I get 87.5%. I don't have to. It's already a decimal. So I get 125%. 2 places is 270%. And these should be that fast. Your familiarity. 5/6. That's going to be, what's that going to be? What's that going to be? What is that? Is that going to be 0.916? 918? Let's look. 5 divided by 6 gives us 8.3. Repeating. So you get 0.83 repeating. If we move that decimal point 2 places, we get 83. Now remember, that's 3 repeating. So it's going to be 3, 3, 3. So we write it in this manner. We wouldn't keep writing the 3s. Repeating only starts to the right of the decimal. So 1 1/2 is 1.5. Let's move it 2 places. 150%. Move it 2 places. 7.5%. This is how easy it is. 0.2%. 9/25. 9 times 4 is 36. 0.36. And then 36%. Pretty sure 9/25. 9 divided by 25.36. Correct. All right. Now, I love this. So in these problems, we're going to have percentage of something. A percent of something is what number, or what number is blah, blah. So I teach my students is over of equals percent over 100. And this fraction, we have 2 fractions, is always going to be in the part over whole. Part over whole concept. Is the part, of is the whole. Percent is the part, 100%, 100 is the whole. So we're always going to fill in that is over of equals percent over 100. So what is the is? So is what number? So that's going to be my unknown. The of, what's the whole part, right? And then 24% is going to go in the percent. Because 24% is 24 over 100. So this is going to get my x. Of is going to be 200 equals, what's my percent? 24 over 100. Now I'm going to use my proportion. I'm going to go from my known to my unknown, and I'm going to multiply by 2. So we get 48 is my answer. 24% of 200 is what number? It's 24% of 200 is 48. Yes. So is over of equals percent over 100. And what we're going to see is as these questions change and what they're looking for, we're going to be able to use this same template. So is what number? Of 125% of 100. And now there's no number that times 100 equals 120, so I'm going to use cross product. Remember, I have those 2 techniques that I used. So I'm going to use the cross product. I'm going to do 100 times x equals 5 times 120. I get 100x equals 600. Yeah, 600 divided by 100. And I get x equals 6. So 5% of 120 is 6. Is over of equals percent over 100. Is still my unknown. Of 1600 equals 1% over 100. I'm going to go from known to unknown if I multiply by 16. So I'm going to multiply the numerator. So 16 is my answer. And see how fast we can do this? I like this one. Watch this one. So is over of equals percent over 100 is x of is 400% is 3 1/2 over 100. Now, a couple ways to do this. We could rewrite this where this is a decimal. That's okay. Or we could keep it as 3 1/2, but I'm going to go from my known to my unknown. I see I'm multiplying by 4. So 4 times 3.5 is going to give me 14. Okay, so as easy as that. I don't even need a calculator. Is over of equals percent over 100. I'm going to multiply by 3, and I get 96. Look how fast we can do these problems. No calculator, all mental math. Is over of equals percent over 100. Now, I don't know what that is. Here's another technique we can use. 85. Let's reduce 16 over 100. We can reduce that to 8 over 50. Now 50 is not a multiple, or 85 is not a multiple of 50, so we can reduce this to 4 over 25 and get smaller numbers. So again, 25 is not a, there's not a factor of 85, but notice the numbers are much more manageable. So I can make them a little bit smaller, which helps me still do some mental math. 25 times x equals 4 times 85. We get 25x equals 34. Divide by 25. Ooh, this is going to be a funky one. And so 5 goes into each of those. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 goes into 34 6. 68. So x is going to equal 1 and 3 3/5. 13.6. Any of these will work in my book. And now let's see. 16% of 85 is what? So the other way that we can do is the calculator way. 16, which is 16% is 0.16 times 85 gives you 13.6. So that's the mathematical, that's the mathematical way of what this is doing. When you want 16% of 85, you could do 0.16 times 85 is what number? Is equal. Is the equal. So that's one technique. I like this. This is typically how they want it. Is over of equals percent over 100. Yeah, let's reduce. So 325, we're at 16% again, and we know that that's 8 over 50, which is 4 over 25. Why did I pick that? Because 25 is a factor of 325. That is going to be, there's 4, 12, 13 times 13. So that's 12, that's 52. 52, let's check. 325 times 0.16 gives me 52. So there you go. 8 1/2 is over of, whoa, that's a big number, equals, I'm going to just change it to a decimal for the time being, 100. So we're going to multiply that by 120. That gives me 3 zeros. So times this by 120. I don't know what that is, but we'll do this. 120 times 8.5, 0, 10, 6, 0, 16, 9. I think I did this correctly. 0, 0, 12, 10, 20, 1 decimal point. So is it 1020? 10,020. Let's look at the math. Let's do 8.5, oh no, percentage, sorry, 0.085. That is the decimal value times 12000 gives you 1020. So you can check with your calculator. We're good. Is over of equals 7.2 over 100. Now let's just leave it like this. Let's do cross product. 100x equals 250 times 7.2. Divide by 100. Divide by 100. Why didn't I multiply 250 times 7.2? Because I knew that I'm going to cancel this. So I know that, well, we cancel out the zeros, and then we can cancel out the other zero by putting the decimal there. So we get 2.5 times 7.2. Whoops, sorry, I need a little space. 2.5 times 7.2. 2.5 times 7.2, which is 10, which is 4 is 5, which is 35, 14, 17, 0, 0, 8, 1, 2 decimal places, so it's 18? Wow. All right. Yeah. 7.2. Yeah. 7.2 times 2.5 gives us 18. Nice. So x equals 18. So is over of equals percent over 100. Let's do this. X over 40 equals 12 over 10. So we're going to multiply by 4. X equals 48. And our number should be bigger than our denominator, because in our right fraction, our numerator is bigger than our denominator. So notice how we can do a lot of this mental math because we're good at numbers. All right. So here, different question, but we're still going to do the is. 12 is over of is now my variable equals percent over 100. So we can still do this fun. We can do 12 over x equals 2 over 10. So we're multiplying times 6 times 6. So x equals 60. What can we do to make this the fastest? How can we get so proficient that we don't need a calculator, that we can rattle this off in less than 30 seconds? So, well, this isn't going to be fun because that's 4 over 10. This isn't going to be multiple. So you can get 2 over 5. We can at least make the number smaller. So when we do cross product, we at least have nice manageable numbers that we can do in our head. 15 times 5 equals 2 times x. That's going to be 25. 75 equals 2 over x divided by 2. And we get 75 halves equals x. Or we can say that that's going to be 37.5 equals x, or 37.5. Any of these should be admissible, even the improper fraction. Is over of equals percent over 100. We are going to multiply by 7. Multiply by 7, 700. Wow, okay. But is over of equals percent over 100 times 3 times 3, 300. We did both of those in less than 30 seconds. Is over of equals percent over 100. Let's reduce. We'll see how this 5 goes into this 3 times, 5 goes into this 20. So now we have a multiple. So that's where 120. That's where reducing the fraction helped us find a multiple. 15. No number times 15 is going to give me, no whole number is going to give me 18. So me reducing 15 over 100 put it into a fraction that ended up being a factor of 18. Is over of equals percent over 100. Again, I'm going to reduce that to see if I can get That's 3/4. I know that that's times 9 going this way, times 9, 36. So nice techniques. This is good for you to figure this out. Is over of equals percent over 100. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to reduce it. I know that 4 goes in that 8 times. 4 goes into 125. So now 6 times 8 is 48. So 6 25s is 150. No calculator, ladies and gentlemen. Now this one might be a little challenging. Is over of equals percent. Now I cannot change this to a decimal. That will not benefit us. We can change it to an improper, which gives us 100 over 3 over 100 equals 225 over x. And now we can cross product. Cross product, cross product. And that'll make some interesting numbers. So we get 100 over 3 times x equals 225 times 100. We get, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3 over 100. 3 over 100, and we see what happened. This gives us x. This 100 in the denominator is going to cancel with the 100 in the numerator. And we're left with 225 times 3, which is 675. Pretty sure that's our answer. So no calculator still. So 4.2 is over of equals percent over 100. Well, I mean, look, okay, watch this. This is times 2. So this is times 2. We can have that proportion going that way also. So it's 8.4. Don't know if you knew that one. Yeah, that works. Let's look at this. If you have 2/10, and we know that that equals 1/5, 2 times 5, well, 1 times 5. So that proportion is both ways. Yeah, not only this way, times 2, but it's also numerator, denominator, denominator to numerator. So there's lots of proportions in this. Don't know if you knew that, but hopefully somebody taught you that. So now is over of equals percent over 100. So notice we've seen this question 3 different times, 3 different ways formatted, and each time we can use this template. So we're going to multiply by 4 times 4, 24, so 64. Is over of equals percent over 100. What percent? So that's 64%, sorry. If it asks for the percent, I guess you want to give it as a percentage. 72, all right, let's reduce. That's 9 over 36. That's going to be 3 over 12. That's going to be 1 over 4. There you go. Finally got to a proportion. So that's times 25 times 25. So 25%. No calculator. Is over of equals percent over 100. So that's 1/8 equals x over 100. We'll get 8x equals 100. Divide by 8, divide by 8. And we get x equals 1. 20 is 2 1/2. So 12.5% or 12.5%. Either of those. I think that's good, right? 100 divided by 8, 12.5. Yep. Good. Is over of equals percent over 100. Let's make that 6 over 15. let's make that 2/5 equals x over 100. Now multiply by 20, we get 40%. Good. Yes. Is whole over of. So now we know that we're going to get a percentage over 100 because my part is more than my whole. Does it behoove us to simplify it? Sure, let's divide it by 5. 5 is 18. 5 is 45. That didn't help us very much. But 9 goes into those. So 9 goes in 5, 2. There we go. Let's multiply it by 50 times 50, which is 250%. We got there. I'm going to try to not, I'm just about to jinx myself. I'm going to try to not use a calculator for any of those, what we did earlier. But what percent of is over of equals percent over 100. I know 11 goes into both of those. 11 goes in 12 times. 11 goes in 20. Yeah. Equals x over 100. So now I'm going to multiply by 5 times 5, 60%. And here, how do we check? Well, let's take 60% of 220. So 60% is 0.6 times 220. Does it equal 132? It does. So that's how we can check our answer if we want to use a calculator. Is over of equals x over 100. So 12 over 60. Let's do 6. So that's 2 over 10 equals x over 100. So times 10 times 10. So we get 20%. 20%. What percentage is of equals percent over 100? 9 goes in that 5 times. 9 goes into that 4 times, right? I think I did that correct, right? 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times, yeah. And now we multiply by 25, and we get 125%. Good. Boom. One of the faster videos. And why? Because I'm fluent in this work. I have a strong number sense. That's what you're shooting for. A strong number sense, a strong fluency in multiplication, in the arithmetic, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, all based upon this. Good luck.